So typing games, huh? I gotta say, when you first sent me this list, I was like, really? Typing games, that's our deep dive. But looking at it now, these games are something else entirely.
Yeah, they're definitely not what you'd expect.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got 5 games here, all right? And they're all tagged as typing games on Steam, which, okay, fair enough. But that's where the similarities end, because each one of these games takes typing and spins it in a totally unique direction. We're talking puzzle solving, we're talking historical adventures. We've even got a hacking sim where your WPM is the difference between like digital glory and getting caught with a smoking keyboard.
It's amazing what these developers have done, right? They've taken something as, I don't know, basic as typing and turned it into the core of these really engaging games.
Right. Like it makes you realize how much potential there is in something we just like completely take for granted every day.
Cool.
Okay, so let's dive into this first one. Keyg, The Last Prison. All right, so picture this. You sit down at your keyboard, right? But instead of writing an email or like battling it out in the comment section, you're navigating a digital maze using your keyboard.
I love that.
That's key.
It's such a cool concept.
It is, right. And what makes it so interesting is that it forces you to think about your keyboard in a completely different way, you know? You're not just hitting keys to type words. You're using the layout of the keyboard itself to move through these intricate levels. It's almost like
the keyboard becomes a game board.
Exactly.
And it's surprisingly challenging. I mean, I consider myself a pretty decent typist, but when you have to think spatially about the keys, it's a whole new level of coordination.
Yeah, and the reviews back that up. People are saying the puzzles are legitimately tough. I even saw one reviewer who said that, get this, the game actually improved their touch typing skills.
That's wild.
Right? Like, talk about edutainment, you know?
Yeah.
You're having fun, and without even realizing it, you're getting better at something practical.
It's a testament to the power of good game design, for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so moving on to our next game, and this one really caught my eye because it's all about the history of fonts.
Ooh, I love a good font.
Right, so the game is called Type.Writer. It's a platformer, but with a really cool twist. You play as these 2 dots, and you journey through these different levels, but each level is inspired by a different typeface.
What?
Like, you'll go from ancient scripts to, like, the pixel fonts we see in retro games.
Oh, that's so cool. I love how this game combines visuals and information. Like, you're not just playing a game, you're actually learning something about the evolution of typography.
Exactly. And the levels themselves are supposed to be visually stunning. It's like you're traveling through the history of written communication, you know?
That's a really cool way to put it. I'm imagining these beautiful, intricate levels, each one reflecting the unique style of the typeface it's based on. And as you're playing, you're uncovering these historical facts. Like, did you know that the letter A actually originated from a pictogram of an ox head?
Get out!
Yeah.
No way!
Yeah. It's amazing.
I never would guess that. See, this is what I love about these deep dives. You learn something new every time.
Me too.
But I will say, I did see a few reviewers mention that the controls for typewriter can be a little
clunky.
Yeah, that's the word. Like, they love the concept, love the visuals, but they weren't too keen on the controls.
Yeah, I can see that. It's always a balancing act for developers, right? Trying to create these innovative mechanics while also ensuring the game feels good to play. I mean, some people might be willing to overlook a few control quirks if the rest of the experience is compelling enough.
That's a good point. It all comes down to personal preference, right? Some people prioritize a gripping story and innovative design above all else, while others might find that responsive controls are a deal breaker. It really depends on what you're looking for in a gaming experience.
So true.
All right, ready for something a little more, shall we say, high octane?
Bring it on.
All right, buckle up, because this next game is Glyphica, typing survival. Now, have you ever played a bullet hell game?
Oh, yeah. Love those. You know those games where the screen is just filled with projectiles coming at you from every direction?
Exactly. And in Glyphica, you're dodging those bullets, but by typing.
Wait, what? That's crazy. How does that even work?
Right. It sounds kind of wild, but that's the brilliance of it. Instead of physically dodging, you're typing words to obliterate these waves of letters and symbols that are coming at you. So the faster and more accurately you type, the better your chances of survival.
Oh, wow. That is so clever. It's like the ultimate test of your typing skills, but with this whole other layer of like adrenaline-fueled action on top of it.
And it's not just mindless blasting either. This game has depth.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a roguelite. So, each playthrough has randomized elements, And when you die, which, let's be honest, you start over, but you hopefully get a little bit stronger each time.
I love a good roguelite. They're so addictive. It's all about that just one more run mentality.
Right. And from what I'm seeing, people are really digging the depth that Glyphica offers. There's a whole system for customizable builds and power-ups.
That's awesome. So you're not just reacting to what's happening on screen, you're actually making strategic decisions that will impact your entire run.
Exactly. And the way they've integrated that with the whole typing mechanic, it's really clever. One reviewer actually described Glyphica as, and I quote, monkey type and geometry wars smashed together. Which, I gotta say, that sounds like a pretty accurate description.
It does, doesn't it? And you know what makes it even more exciting? It's still in early access.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the developers are still actively working on it, adding new content, new features, all based on player feedback. So it's like you're part of the game's evolution, you know?
I love that. All right, so that's Glyphica, Typing Survival. Definitely one to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, switching gears completely now. Let's talk about Anonymous Hacker Simulator. Because who hasn't, like, watched a movie and thought, man, I want to be a hacker?
Right. Totally. Hacking always looks so cool in movies.
Right. But this game, it lets you live out that fantasy. But, and this is the cool part, it does it with a surprising amount of realism.
That's what intrigued me when I first read about it. It's not just relying on those, like, Hollywood hacking cliches, you know? It actually incorporates real-world hacking techniques and tools.
So it's an actual simulation.
Yeah, it's still a game, obviously, but it's aiming for this level of authenticity that you don't often see.
And are they pulling it off?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at some reviews here and I'm seeing some comments from, like, actual cybersecurity folks who are saying that the hacking scenarios in this game, they're legit.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so compelling, right? It's not just a superficial representation of hacking. The developers have clearly done their research, which I think makes it even more appealing for players who are genuinely interested in cybersecurity.
It's like a fun way to learn about a really complex topic. Yeah. Plus, it sounds like there's an actual story here, too. Like, reviewers are mentioning an engaging narrative, missions that require strategic thinking. It's not just like randomly typing code and hoping for the best.
Right. It's not just a technical simulation. There's a narrative framework that gives context to your actions, you know? So you're not just hacking for the sake of it. You're driven by a purpose. It makes it more engaging, more immersive that way.
Totally. Okay, so gotta ask, for someone who loves a good visual spectacle in their games, how are the graphics in Anonymous Hacker Simulator?
Well, let's just say that this game is definitely more about substance than style. If you're expecting, like, flashy visuals, explosions, car chases,
Right.
you might be disappointed. The real action in Anonymous Hacker Simulator happens on the in-game computer screen. It's all about, you know, deciphering code, exploiting vulnerabilities, and that quiet thrill you get when you finally outsmart the system.
So it's a different kind of immersion.
Ex-
It's not about the visual spectacle. It's about the thrill of the challenge, the problem solving.
Okay, this next game, I'll be honest, this one has me completely captivated just from the name alone. Dreamio. AI-powered adventures. I mean, come on.
The name really says it all, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
This game is, like, really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI in games.
Okay, tell me more.
So it's a choose-your-own-adventure game, right? But here's the twist. Instead of following a pre-written story, everything is generated in real time by artificial intelligence. The story, the illustrations, even the narration.
Hold on. So, like, instead of a human game master crafting the story, you've got an AI doing it on the fly based on the choices you're making in the game.
Exactly.
Man, that's next level.
It's like having an infinitely creative dungeon master, but, like, you know, in your computer, you can explore these crazy worlds, shape these narratives, and you're constantly encountering these unexpected twists and turns. Okay, so question. Let's say I want to play Dremio, right? But I'm in a very particular mood. Can I tweak the AI to make it favor a certain type of story?
Oh, absolutely. You have a ton of control over the AI. There are actually several different AI models to choose from, and each one has its own style, its own quirks. So you can really experiment with that.
Oh, that's cool. So you can make it, like, extra spooky or, I don't know, more lighthearted.
Exactly. Or if you really want to get in the driver's seat, you can actually write your own prompts to kind of steer the narrative in a specific direction.
Wow. So you're not just playing a story, you're co-creating it alongside the AI.
Precisely. It's a really unique form of interactive storytelling.
That's wild. Okay, but, like, all this high-tech AI stuff, that's got to be expensive for the developers to implement, right? Like,
Yeah.
running those algorithms, all that data processing.
You're right. It's definitely not cheap. But the developers have been really transparent about that. Jeremio actually has an in-game token system.
Okay, so how does that work?
So basically, these tokens are what you use to generate the story content, the illustrations, all that good stuff. And yeah, they do cost money to buy. But here's the thing. You get a certain amount of tokens for free every day just for logging in. And it's actually a pretty generous amount. Like, you can easily play around with the game, get a feel for it without spending a dime.
Okay, so it's not like pay to play or anything.
No, not at all. The free tokens are more than enough to enjoy a good chunk of the game. And then, if you find yourself really hooked, you can always buy more tokens to support the developers and keep the AI magic flowing.
Right, because those servers aren't going to pay for themselves.
Exactly. And there's actually one more option for the, shall we say, more tech-savvy players out there.
Oh.
You can actually bypass the in-game token system entirely if you want.
Wait, really? How?
If you have your own API keys for AI services, like, from OpenAI or something, you can plug those right in and use those instead.
Wow, so you're essentially using your own AI firepower.
Exactly. Or if you're willing to do a little digging, there are actually some free AI models out there that you can use with the Dremio as well.
So you've got options. You can keep it casual with the free daily tokens, dive deep into the customization options, or go full-on tech wizard and bring your own AI to the party. I like it.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, though, when I first heard about the token system, I was a little wary. But honestly, for a game this innovative, I'm more than willing to give it a shot.
I'm with you on that. I think Dremio is more than just a game. It represents a potential shift in how we experience interactive storytelling. It's a glimpse into a future where AI becomes this incredibly powerful tool for personalized entertainment.
It's mind-blowing, really. This whole deep dive, I gotta say, I started out thinking typing games, really. And now I'm blown away by the creativity, the innovation that we've seen. I mean, we went from the puzzle-solving brilliance of Keyg to this incredible historical journey with Typewriter. Then the adrenaline rush of Glyphica, the immersive simulation of Anonymous Hacker Simulator, and finally, this mind-bending experiment that is Dremio. It's incredible. Who knew typing could be this exciting?
It really makes you appreciate the power of creativity, right?
Yeah.
And how technology can take something we think of as ordinary, like typing, and turn it into something extraordinary.
So, to our listeners out there, I want to know, which one of these games are you going to choose? Will you embrace the strategic depths of Keyg, uncover the secrets of typography with Typewriter, maybe survive the typing mayhem of Glyphica, become a digital ghost in the machine with Anonymous Hacker Simulator, or will you explore the infinite possibilities of AI-generated worlds in Dremio? Whatever you choose, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and given you a newfound appreciation for the humble keyboard. Until next time, happy typing.